Hey y'all, it's your girl Miss Trina. Now I want you to go and get your glass of wine, your meat and cheese tray, whatever it is you need to lay back with that wine and relax. Because I want you to take a moment to watch my chat with the legend, Houston's first lady of soul, now known as the Golden Girl, Miss Trudy Lynn. Hello, everybody. This is Miss Trina with Chat with Trina. And today I am chatting with Houston's first lady of soul. And now I read that she's being called the Golden Girl because of her new her album and international blues singer and performer, Miss Trudy. And before I start talking with her and digging into the chat, I want to just mention that she was nominated for the Coco Taylor Award by the 41st Blues Music Awards, which is known as BMAs, and that is a tradition. The category is the traditional female blues artist category, and it's the highest honor given to the blues musicians. Am I correct?
Right.
And she also received 2 career-defining awards in 2019, the Living Legends Award from our own Houston Blues Society, and the Willie Mitchell Lifetime Artist Award given by Just the Blues Music Foundation, and so much more. And she's been nominated 12 times for the BMAs. And what I'm most excited about is that she is a Houston homegirl from Fifth Ward, Texas, who attended my mama's high school, Phyllis Wheatley. Yay! What is that? Wheatley, what? Wheatley Wildcats. Wildcats?
That's right. And the big nipple, as we say.
Yes. Well, thank you, Miss Trudy, so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. My name is Lee Audrey Nelms. Can you tell my viewers how you came up with Trudy Lynn?
Well, I visited an aunt one year, the year I graduated from high school in 65, and I spent the summer vacation with her. And I went out to a club there. It was a mixed club. Back in them days, it's a little bit deep to go into a mixed club, you know.
Yeah.
My cousin and I went to hear this band because it was a mixed band, and the band was there. And just so happened they needed a female vocalist, so I started singing, and so I kept singing with them. And so, well, you going to use your name for a stage name? I said, well, I might as well make a male name. And so I just looked on the wall and saw a bunch of cartoon characters. And I saw the name Trudy. And during that particular time, I've said it before, lots of times, during that time, it was a lot of Barbara Lynn, Gloria Lynn. Was a lot of Lynn, so I said, well, I might as well join the Lynn family. And I just said Trudy Lynn. Came on back home, and I had a new name. Tell me your real name don't catch, so you have to do a name that'll catch. You know, and that's what it used to be. It ain't like that now, you know.
Yeah, people start singing out in the church. Did you do that as well? Did you sing in the church?
Yeah, I sang in church, and I sung in choirs and things in high school, and did group singing, you know. But so far as to say, just basically, well, in my church, I'm Church of Christ, so the whole congregation just sing. We don't have music in the church.
Okay, but my family's Church of Christ as well. That's funny. That's interesting.
So you know, so we sing and rejoice from the heart.
When did you start singing, and what drew you into the music industry?
Well, I always sung. I always did like singing. Even when I was a kid, a teenager, we would have little talent shows on the front porch on weekends when we'd be out of school. And I joined all the choirs, and we did a little group singing. And lunchtime, we'd be out on the veranda singing different groups and things. That's how I met Archie Bell, you know.
Yeah.
We went to the same high school. Well, he was going to Kashmere High School here in Houston, and I was going to Wheatley. He transferred to Wheatley in his last year. And it was a group there called the Drills, and I was one of the Drills, you know, when it first started out. And so when Archie came and we were graduating, he was left there, so he got with the group, and that's how I got to be Archie Bell and the
Drills. Yes, I recently met him maybe 3 years ago. He had a birthday party at some little small cool club.
Continental Club.
Yes, that was such a neat club. I met him that night.
Right. So he's doing pretty good. He's been ailing a bit lately. You know, he had a stroke, you know, but he's coming on.
Oh, that's good. You know that you had the special talent that you could do this and make some money.
Well, I would say, because I graduated in 65 and I started singing in 66 out on the road with a big band. And we would, with Leo Baxter, it was a local musician here in Houston, and he always had a big band, and he would travel and do the military bases. And so I just happened to be just coming out and knew a lot of standard songs. So I started singing with them in all the Army bases and places like that over Texas.
Were all those bands blues bands, or were they different genres?
They were different genres. They were a big band. We were doing like standard type music,
Mm-hmm.
Duke Ellington, Donna Washington, and
Oh.
and then I joined Calvin Owens. He used to be the musical director for B.B. King for a while, and I joined his group, and so we were doing it all. And I joined Clarence Green, a local well-known musician here in Houston, and we ended up being the best little band in Houston with 5 pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and we learned everything because what we did, we kept up with what was on the radio, and that's what we would learn to do in the clubs. And during that particular time, it was a well-known club owner here in Houston called Ray Burnett. Everybody knew Ray Burnett. This
Yes.
had about 7 or 8 clubs in Houston.
Yeah.
And so anybody that was working and doing anything, they worked in the Ray Burnett circuit. That people never say much about him, but he was a big contribution
Wow.
to black
So
music here in Houston.
did you know Charles Bush as well?
Sure, I did. Ray Burnett, he trained Charles Bush.
Really? Okay. Okay.
When Charles Bush was young and first starting off that's who trained him was Ray Burnett.
That's crazy. Okay. My aunt used to work for, I don't know if you ever heard of the Champagne Club back in the day. My aunt was the manager of the Champagne Club. She used to work for Charles Bush.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, Ray Burnett molded him.
that is cool. Okay. That's a good fun fact. See, why did you end up choosing the blues and sticking with the blues?
Well, and because when I started out, like I said, I did standards and big band music when I first started, and then I got with Calvin Owens, and we were doing, regular R&B and what was on the radio, regardless if it was blues, whatever was playing that people was playing and listening to on the radio. That's what we did. And I was really, really hot when I was in a Ray Burnett circuit. We were doing soul music. That's when soul music first stepped on the scene. Aretha Franklin and Etta James and all of them, and everything Aretha sung, I sung in the clubs, And then along came Gladys Knight. I did Gladys Knight, so I did all of them, So I did some of all of it, and I thank God that I can. I'm not lost in any of it. You can put I'm not gonna be lost. I put it like that, So I've did so much of it, But you can do a lot of it and know a lot of it, but you don't master but one. I don't care what you do. Anything you do, you only master one.
Right.
And I decided that I would just stick with blues.
Okay. Do you ever in any of your shows ever do any R&B or other music, or you just totally the full show?
Yeah. A lot of people come out and ask me to do some R&B. They heard me do back in the day. If I remember it, I'll do it.
No, right?
Like that.
I read or I heard you on another show say that blues is a feeling. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's the feeling. It's a true thing. Like from where it come from. It really originated from just like in the cotton fields, and that's the truth, And it was how people would express what they were going through. It was a feeling, and they would put it in the music. And you could hear it. You could hear it in their singing when they would do it. Even like back in the day when they used to put like a lot of blacks in prisons and put them out there on the railroad digging land tracks down, and it would be singing, and they would sing. That was their only enjoyment, and they would sing all of their feelings and their woes in their music.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Basically what blues is about. They just sing it and just talk. It's a way to talk about it. Without back in the day, like with the slaves, they weren't permitted to say some things, talk about some things, learn how to read and stuff. So they would sing.
Oh, okay.
They would know. When they would hear the music, they would know it. Oh. Like I know a lot. I was doing a festival, and I think it was Grapeland, Texas, I think, and they had a lot of older ladies there that were doing quilting, and they had a lot of quilts on display, and they were explaining how those people would make those quilts and make certain patterns on those quilts that would lead them slaves out of stuff that
Yeah.
would be on the quilts. They would read it on the quilts, so.
I met a quilt lady before. I didn't understand what quilts were about and why they were so important. And then this lady came one year for rodeo time, whatever they call it, Go Texan Week, and they showed us how the stories were on these quilts. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And then you mentioned that you prefer to have blues musicians behind you because they know that feeling. And so
they know that feeling, and then I can't lose them. I can't lose them because blues is just a certain set of changes. The music is that you do, 3, 4, 5, whatever the changes are in blues, you change, you say what it's about, and then you come through and you put the punchline in, and then you put the ending in where you got the same changes in the music. And if you're not really off into it, you'll just get bored with it. But you have to really be off into it and to dig it, to really be off into it and do it.
Do you remember your first live performance?
Yeah.
How were you nervous, and do you still get nervous before you perform?
No, because I was always kind of frisky. Well, I do it. Even if I mess up, I just wouldn't do it no more.
You all know it. That is so.
It was a club. It was a club here in Houston on Lockwood, and it was across from the old Lockwood Hospital, and it was called Walter's Lounge. And they used to have a Sunday matinee, and the adults would go, and I think it would be like from 3 to 9, 3 to 6, something like that, But anyway, Albert Collins was the band there. And Big Tiny, and so I knew 2 or 3 songs just from listening to some of my parents' music at home on the old 7/8, And my mother told Albert King, not Albert King, Albert Collins, that I could sing. She had a daughter could sing, and he said, and he talked to me. He said, "You want to sing a song?" I said, "Yes, sir." And he asked me what did I know. I told him I knew a song. It was called "Money."
Of course.
He got up on the stage, but baby, I tore that place up. And that was the beginning when I really began to get a feel. I said, I think this is what I want to do.
Okay. So your mom was in favor of you doing music?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she was a well-known beautician in Fifth Ward, and she still out of the artist hair and stuff.
Recorded 12 songs in one day. That's
right.
True, or did I misunderstand?
That's from knowing that blues and getting blues musicians in. And when I would just give a count and say, let's do this and let's do that, they would come right on in, and we just did it. It was almost just like a jam, and it just kept taping.
Just kept going.
Yeah. But that particular CD that I did that on, it charted #1 in Billboard, which is a major music thing. It charted for about 3 or 4 months, #1.
So it was worth that long 12 hours.
Yeah.
It probably didn't really feel like that long, though, being that y'all were having a good time and jamming.
Yeah, and we were just enjoying it.
Yeah. Let me see where I was. Do you play any instruments, Miss Trudy?
I don't play no instruments.
I thought I'd moved to Atlanta for a while. Was it because of the music industry? Is that why you moved there? It had nothing to do with that?
Well, I went there, the company I was with, which was Ichiban, where I did most of my CDs. I did about 7 or 8 CDs there for Ichiban. And I would always go there for a dress rehearsal. We'd always do a dress rehearsal right before you tour to go out and do your shows, and I would have to always go to Atlanta. So I just decided I would go there and get me a place there. And I stayed there for about 7 or 8 years because my band was there in Atlanta, so I had to travel to go do that. So I said, I might as well just be here.
Just be there.
Yeah.
Do you, you're an international artist, and I am always surprised for some reason. I don't know why, that our music, like I hear Zydeco musicians say, oh, I was in, I don't know, Spain or Germany singing. And I'm always so surprised to know that the music that we like, they like over there. So what was it like going to Spain when you went to Spain? Or did you go to Spain, or did I have the wrong place? When you went over?
Oh, no, I went to Spain. I've been all over Europe. I've been all over Europe, and Asia, up and down under. I've been all over.
How was that? They get the music, I guess.
Oh, it's wonderful. And they know the music. I mean, they know more about the blues there in Europe than Americans know right here in America, where the blues artists come from.
That's crazy.
They'll tell you about a blues artist that's here, might be right in your neighborhood, right in your back door, and you don't never know it. That's how good they are. And then we would go there, and we'd go into schools, and they have classes on it. We go into schools, speak to the students. We'd have an interpreter there with us, and the kids love it. The kids love it.
On that note, I was going to mention, so I work for HISD for a program, a college career program, and I brought a blues art. Well, we're virtual, so she was virtual, but I brought a young blues artist to talk to them. And she was like, well, I'm going to sing them a song too. When I talked to them, I was thinking to myself, they ain't going to like that song. Trudy, at the end of her talk, she sang this song, a blues song. Those kids loved it. And at the end of the year, I always ask, say, who was your favorite, what was your favorite guest speaker? They said her, in addition to one other person, but they said her. So you think maybe if we introduced them to the blues more, they would know it. I just assumed they were young and they wouldn't like it.
Sure, they would like it. For one thing, like when we were coming up and back in the day, when blues music was considered back in the day, like with Robert Johnson, devil music, bad music. So you couldn't do blues music. I know a lot of the older white people that some of my fans now, they tell me, they say, Trudy, back in the 50s and 60s, I know all the music, and they do. They say we used to go in the garage or go outside with the little transistor radios and listen to blues late at night and hear all Muddy Waters and all those people like that. They would sneak and listen
to the devil music.
To the devil music.
And I do see that. I see that that's what I see in the blues. A friend of mine, Angela Morgan, sings blues. So I go see her sometimes, and I'm always amazed that it's such a diverse music scene. Like the band is, there's white, black, and then it's just really neat to me to see that all the cultures come together under the blues.
Yeah. Well, it's and the thing about blues too is most of your supporters, it's bad to say, but it's true. Most of the supporters is white, are British, like overseas, or Spanish, Spaniards or whatever they are, and they support the blues. Black people just don't look up to the blues like that, And then another thing, I can't really say that because you got blacks that do like blues, but because there's certain types, like back in the day, blues was just blues, and so now you got different types of blues. You got different types of blues.
So you got
Southern soul. You got Southern soul blues, you got traditional blues, you got just all kind of blues. Chicago got their sound, Texas got their sound, California got their sound, and it's different, So.
Speaking of kids getting to know the blues and just being able to introduce them to that, the movies that have come out recently, the new both Aretha Franklin movies, and then the new Billie Holiday movie, I thought it was cool because now a new generation can find out who these people are. What did you think about that?
I think it was good, and it's more, the kids just don't know anything about them, but it's more movies was out about the blues before these particular movies came out. It's just a lot of them. You just have to go off into it
and look for it. Well, I know I did love Lady Sings the Blues. That was Is there a difference in soul and blues though? Are they kind of interconnect?
Well, not really. Not blues and soul. I mean, it's in there, but they're not the same. They're different. They're very, because like soul and that music, R&B and stuff, it goes out like on the radio station. Airplay can be played everywhere, whereas blues is only played
certain stations. Yeah.
And that's good few, you just have to know where it is and go get it.
Well, here's a question that I struggle with, an issue that I struggle with. So working in live music and promotions in that industry has always seemed like a male dominated business. And I've had some challenges over the years. So did you have any challenges because you were a woman in those times coming up?
Well, just like I said, I was always kind of straightforward out, But I never had no run-ins with nobody. I've never met no enemies. I put it like that out there. But even like with the male artists that I would meet, everybody was cordial with me and stuff, and they just did their thing, and I did mine.
Your thing, okay. But you didn't have no money getting you don't have no problem getting your money, huh?
I had a problem getting my money, And then I didn't really hang around. I started out when they had what they call, it used to be in with black music, as they used to say, was the chitlin circuit.
Yeah, yeah.
And let me tell you what that means. Chitlin circuit is like in a little juke joint. You go and they have a sitting at the door, and they have a ticket man on the door. He have a cigar box and some red tickets, and he give you one, and he take one. Then he put one in his pocket and one in the. And so at the end of the night, you have to have somebody to watch the man on the door that was getting the money.
Yes, exactly.
Chitlin circuit, and they count the tickets to go along with how many people that's in the club,
Oh.
That's what the Chitlin circuit was about, until it changed into major bookers started coming in and taking the shows and paying us stuff, and that's it's a whole different ballgame.
So do you I know that you have management, like people that do your bookings and everything. Do you think that's important for up and coming artists to try to not do those things themselves or outsource that?
Yeah, you can, in a way you can, and in a way you can, because I have to give it to I feel like that opened the door was those rappers. When the rappers started, they couldn't cut. When they started and go to a company, and a company would take them and put them out there. They didn't. So what those kids did, they started making their records, putting them in their car trunks, going to their concerts, selling them, and they was making so much money into the big place, big avenues in the music industry. Had to get in there with them, because they showed them how to make money. They really did.
If a young lady comes to you and lets you know that she wants to get into the entertainment business, more specifically blues, what advice would you give her?
It's good, if you're going to get into it, always practice on your craft, learn the business side of it, and go at it the right way. Try to get you a manager or somebody that knows
the business.
The business, right? And just and come out there and try to come out there and work on yourself. You got a lot of people that come out, and you got a lot of imitators, and to me, to imitate is suicide, because it's just like when Aretha came out, everybody wanted to be Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin song, but it wasn't but one Aretha Franklin. So
Aretha Franklin.
It don't make no sense to go out there and try to imitate somebody that's already out there and go out there, because if one done made it, that's enough. Try to develop a sound. Try to develop you. Make yourself a product and sell. Just like Ultra Sheen Grease, make the hair. You got to do that. You become a product when you come out here and want to entertain, so you got to sell.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you open your mouth, people know who you are. They ain't got to guess on who they hear singing.
And compare it as much to other people if you get your own. Well, before I go to the next question, do any of your kids sing?
No, no.
No.
My daughter used to like to rap, and I think she still got a stack of what she used to write raps and things, but she didn't go off into it,
She didn't go. So I want to know what you do to chill and relax. Because I know I read that during the pandemic, you kind of took some rest, but then you got antsy. So what do you do? Do the chill and relax.
Got antsy and got that pandemic fat and everything on me.
I know.
But I write a lot, just like the songs, like the CD I just did, Golden Girl. Most of the songs on there, I wrote, except 3 of them, and I got 1 cover, but the rest of them are songs that I wrote, And it's called Golden Girl, and it's called Golden Girl because I wrote a song called Golden Girl Blues on there. So
okay.
It's gonna be good.
Okay.
And I write, and then I like to sew, and I like doing crafts.
Oh, okay. What about traveling? Do you like to travel?
Yeah, so I make most of my clothes and my outfits that I wear.
Really? I wish I could do that. I'd save so much money if I could sew stuff.
Yeah, you would.
They charge $20 to put a hem in your pants nowadays.
Oh yeah, it's different from what it used to be.
Yes, I'd be like, I shouldn't buy I'm gonna have to buy the clothes that fit because I spend more money getting them fixed.
Custom fit you, Whereas if you know how to sew, and it's not hard to learn how to sew. It's just I always remember it's a top and a bottom.
And you have to have a little bit of patience though.
Yeah.
So what's next for Miss Trudy Lynn?
Well, I'm working on the CD now. I'm getting ready now. I'll start next week. We're shooting a video on Golden Girl.
Oh wow! It's gonna be here in
And so
Houston?
then I've got to go into the studio. I got about about 100, maybe 200 drops I got to do for radios for the new CD that's coming out. That's all over here in the States and abroad.
Okay.
So they keep me busy. They're keeping me busy.
Exciting stuff coming. Good.
You know, you record your CDs, you go in the studio and you work and you do your thing. But you know, when you come back, once you get that CD did, you got to come back and learn them songs because you don't really know.
Exactly.
That's what I do all day long is listen to my music.
Because that won't be cute to get out there and you don't remember your own song.
Well, for one thing, because when you and most entertainers when they do a CD normally, you know, if you got a lot of them out, normally it's about one or two off of each CD that you do. And like sometimes the people will come and say, "Well, do this," and sometimes you really don't know that song because you don't sing it all the time.
Right.
You know?
How do you feel about people making requests?
Oh, I love people to make requests, you know, because people come to concerts. Like I tell a lot of entertainers, I say, you know, you have to be careful because people will come out there to that concert and they'll buy $100 ticket on up to $500 to hear one song. They just want to hear that one song, and that'll make their night.
That is crazy. Wow. Cicely Tyson once says that she would never retire because she got to keep on moving. So do you think you'll ever retire?
I don't know. I used to would say that. I mean, and when I first started, I used to see a lot of the older singers. It's like I've reached that point, yeah. And I would say, "Oh my God, I don't want to be that old," and I'm here. So if it's something you like doing, you just go ahead on. You just do it.
Keep it moving, yeah.
And just thank God and keep on doing it.
And keep it moving. Where do we find your music?
You go like out on the internet. Most of the music is out on the internet now. You know everything because
instead of carrying the crates of CDs with you to the concert.
yeah. It's nothing like what it used to be. Even with the radio stations, it's not the same. Used to be you can go in a radio station with your CDs, give them to the DJs, and stop them in the middle of their show, and they would play songs. But it don't work like that no more.
Don't work like that no more.
Yeah. Everything is on the air. Everything is on MP3. So
okay.
Situation because it has to be. Well, it's better. It's better for people like musicians in the industry, just like when you come with your royalties and things, because that's how they keep up with it. You know, because everything that those DJs play, they have to format it and put it on paper and send it in. Or put it on the internet and put it in before they even go do their show. That stuff has to go out there so they'll know what's played. That's how people get their royalties.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. That is definitely good. Any last words you just want to mention to say anything to my viewers?
Well, I just want to say that, you know, for one thing, I thank God that I'm still here. I'm still doing it. God's been good to me. And that when I be in town performing, come out and support me. We're going to do a CD released on this CD on the 12th of March. At the club that you were talking about, the Continental. You should come. You come there. You're
so nostalgic, though. Like I really enjoyed that night. It was just really neat. But yes, I'm gonna put it on my calendar.
That club, that's what they usually do. They showcase a lot of entertainers in there. You know, they're going in just to the show.
Is that third floor?
It's a nice venue. Did you go outside to the patio area?
Did I go outside? I did not. I don't think I did.
It's a whole patio bigger than that club out there.
Wow.
With a big outside screen and everything at that club.
It was so many people that particular night. I think that's why I was like,
yeah. They'd be packed. When they have something, they'd be packed.
Yes.
I'll be there on the 12th. I'll be there on the 12th. We're going to release this CD on the 12th of March.
Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all hear that? It'll be an opportunity. Jerry, since you say you ain't seen her in years, you need to come on out. You'll see her.
And support this Golden Girl. That's why I named the CD Golden Girl.
Golden Girl. It's the Golden Girl Lady of Blues in Houston. Well, it has been an honor. I thank you so much for joining me today. I really do.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I will definitely be making sure that I'm available for March the 12th so I can see you perform in person.
Okay, and let me see every face in the place. Come on out on the 12th of March at the Continental Club.
Yes. Thank you again so much. Bye.
Bye.
Y'all, I just want to say, make sure, thank y'all for making the choice to click in and chat with Trina. Make sure that you go to youtube.com/chat with Trina, subscribe, and then hit the little bell to make sure that you know when I upload my next video. Bye, Trudy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again, Miss Trudy, so much for chatting with me tonight. It was such an honor. And there were just several people asking me to have you on the show. So I'm so glad that you responded right away. That made me very happy. Thanks again for meeting with me. Guys, don't forget about March the 12th, Trudy Lynn's album release party at the Continental Club. It's going to be a party, y'all, and I'll be there to hang out with you. All right, so make sure you go to youtube.com/Chat with Trina. Subscribe and then hit that little bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video.